Hey, what's up everyone? This is Zach and I am here with an album review for you guys, and this is a paid request from Total Meltdown 2, aka Minotaur. So thank you so much for the request, Total Meltdown 2. And he wanted me to review a soundtrack, so I thought, okay, cool. And this is for the Shocker soundtrack. Now, Shocker, I have never seen the movie, but from what I've heard about the film, I've heard it was just okay, but maybe at some point I'll check out the movie. We'll see. But this is just a review for the soundtrack, okay? So that's what we're going to be talking about for a bit. But before we go any further, if anyone else would like to send in a paid request, you may do so by sending me a message on social media, preferably Instagram. I will give you my Cash App and we will go from there. Also, PayPal is an option for close friends, and it doesn't have to just be for a music review like this. It could be a movie review, a random topic discussion type video, whatever it is you would like to see from me, within reason, of course. Just go ahead, send a message, and feel free to let me know what you would like to see. Also, for those who don't know, I do have merch available on poppoptees.com, so for those who want my merch, just go to poppoptees.com and it'll be there. And to anyone that has sent in requests before or bought my merch before, thank you. So, Shocker, the soundtrack. Now, going into this, I wasn't really sure what to expect from it, but overall, I'd say I like this. I thought that this was very solid. It's definitely very 80s, which, yes, it did come out in the 80s, 1989, I believe, and there's some good stuff on here. There's definitely some good stuff. There's a couple of songs on here that are by Dudes of Wrath, which I'm not too familiar with them, but I do like what I've heard from them, you know, especially the opening track, Shocker. It's very fun and catchy, and of course, very 80s sounding. And there's a few familiar bands and artists on here. Iggy Pop is one of them. I've heard of Iggy Pop. I just am not familiar, but I thought the song from them was all right on this album, on this soundtrack. And there's actually a song from Megadeth on this soundtrack, No More Mr. Nice Guy, and of course that's a very good song, and of course Megadeth is great, so you definitely can't go wrong with that. So of course, No More Mr. Nice Guy, you got Megadeth on here, so there's that. But yeah, but then there's some other bands and music artists that I'm not too familiar with, but I definitely didn't mind what I've heard, though. I mean, again, going back to Dudes of Wrath, I mean, I'm kind of impressed by what I've heard from them. I mean, some solid musicianship and everything, and you know, when it comes to soundtracks, that's something that I do want to get into here. I think when it comes to soundtracks, I think that is a very good way of getting introduced to different bands and music artists, because that's kind of how I started out. Because back in the day, I was a huge Spider-Man fan, and still am a Spider-Man fan to this day, but, you know, this was around the time when the Tobey Maguire movies were still a thing, whenever I listened to those soundtracks for the first time, and those soundtracks were really my gateway into a lot of different bands. That's how I got introduced to Aerosmith. That's how I got introduced to Corey Taylor and Stone Sour, and just his music in general. I believe Nickelback was on the first soundtrack, at least Chad Kroeger was, which I'm not a Nickelback fan, but I actually don't mind the song that's on that soundtrack. So, yeah, my point is, soundtracks are a good way of getting introduced to different bands and different music artists, because if you like a movie, you check out the soundtrack, you know, you like some songs that you hear on the soundtrack, and it can get you hooked onto their music, and the rest is history. It can definitely work that way. Now, with this soundtrack, Shocker, overall I thought it was good. I thought that this was a very solid soundtrack. I mean, definitely some really cool 80s hard rock, metal tracks on here. Yes, it definitely sounds very 80s, which I keep going back to, but yeah, so there is a little bit of the 80s cheese on this soundtrack, but that's probably the whole point. Now, again, I haven't seen the movie Shocker, so yeah, but overall, I thought that this was good. I thought that this was very solid. So thank you, Minotaur, aka Total Meltdown 2, once again for this request. This was definitely cool to check out. So if you are a fan of 80s music or you like the Shocker movie, I'd say check this out. So if I were to give this soundtrack a rating or a score, I will give Shocker, the soundtrack, probably a strong 7 or a light 8 out of 10. That's kind of what I'm thinking for this. So overall, didn't think that this was bad. I thought it was pretty good. So let me know what you think if you've heard the Shocker soundtrack. So with that said, thank you all for watching. Take care and have a good one.